And all of the minutes in the legs now, that's the big thing.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, we're now getting to a point where we're looking at 90s for over the next 2 or 3 games. We've got Saturday, we've got Chorley on the Tuesday, um, and then we've got the Dundee United game. So we've got 3 games now where we want to get 90 minutes into players as much as we can, just so that everybody's then ready for the start of the season.
Paul lads over the last 2 have had the 90, Paul. How do you decide that? How do you make it that right? You lads are going to do this?
Probably just around positionals situation really, and we looked at that. We've got away with it today. Corey had a little bit of a tight hamstring, and I was quite willing to go for the last couple of minutes with 10 men. Because there's every chance at some point this season we'll be down to 10 men, but he said he wanted to carry on, so it was more about the positions that they were playing, more about looking at who else has been involved in games and where they've had minutes. But I think they've all done well. I thought Jordan Gibson and John Mellish got through the 90 fine at the weekend, and I thought Corey and Jayden today got through it, and there's a different sort of challenge for somebody like Jayden, because he's an all athleticism and wants to drive forward, but sometimes when you're tired and you have to maybe just adjust your game a little bit, and that's what we spoke to him about. Maybe not making all those forward runs, maybe just play with a bit of discipline and sit in, and again I thought he did it well today.
Just on him, I mean, you said when you came in he was a bit of a project. Are we seeing that now? Because you can tell he's developing.
We're certainly seeing better from him, we're seeing a lot more. He's still got areas he needs to improve on, but he's seeing, I mean, all through pre-season I'm saying we need an big athletic midfielder, and we've maybe got one under our noses, so that's why I want to stay with him. I want him to stick. He is a project, he's a young player, he's got all of the technical ability, he's got a little bit of nasty edge in him, and he can run, so he's got it all. We've just got to try and sort of mould it all into a game player who can affect games on a consistent basis.
And Dan, that's him integrating with the group properly for his first run now, and he didn't look out of place at all.
I thought he did really well. He thought he showed some real good touches. He was lively. It's still early for him. I was a little bit concerned that we could get 60 minutes out of him. I thought we may have to take him off at 45, but he kept going. That'll do him good, because he's done all of the fitness stuff on his own. He's done that type of work. He just needs that football stuff, and it's different when you're in a group and you've got the unpredictability of somebody who you're up against, the changing of direction that's not all sort of structured. So he'll benefit. I'm sure he'll be tired tomorrow, but we've got a recovery day tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be fine come the weekend.
Obvious absentee, and Moxon, what can we say about him?
Yeah, Mox just felt his sort of, we think it's a bit of a neural issue, something coming from his back which is just affecting his hip flexors. Or his hip flexor, so we're just sort of managing him to make sure that he gets through it. He's a little bit better today. He didn't train yesterday, a little bit better today. We'll just assess him as we're going along, but we're not thinking it's a major issue, but we've just got to be really careful at this point.
Trialist keeper Dan, you've brought with you, any closer on making a decision on him?
No, I mean, the first 3 games that we've had, he hasn't really had a lot to do, which has tested him, so I wanted to see a bit more of him in this game. Still hasn't really been tested, if I'm going to be honest, but I like what I see. We've just got to make a decision as to whether or not he's another project for us, whether he can push Thomas enough, or whether we need a Dan and another one as well. It's an area that we obviously need strengthening, so I don't think I have to make a decision at the moment, but hopefully over the next week or so we might be closer to making that decision.
And in terms of the coach will be working with, whoever the goalkeepers are, that's almost close to being resolved as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know who's coming in. It's Dave Timmins who's coming in. He's currently at Ayr United. I'm absolutely delighted to get him. He's a fantastic goalkeeper coach. He's got an incredible work ethic, and he wants to put a plan in place to try and get goalkeepers for the future of the football club, not just for now. I know the lads will enjoy working with him. He's got a real hunger about him. We're having to be patient because he's Ayr United's goalkeeper coach at the moment, and they want him. I am hoping that by next week he'll be in with us, but we're just waiting to see. They need to find a replacement, but it is resolved. It was resolved within sort of 24, 48 hours of Paul Gerrard deciding he didn't want to stay, but we've just had to be quiet and be patient, because he's, out of respect to Ayr United, who've been very good about it, he's their goalkeeper coach.
Football seems to happen this way. Dave took over from Simon all those years ago. Dave knows the club. Great work from Simon in this interim period?
Simon's been brilliant. I've been so pleased with him because he's got so much experience. He's a top fella and a top goalkeeper coach, so he's been good with the guys so far. But we're sort of in a little bit of limbo waiting for Dave Timmins to come in, so thankfully that's been done. He knows Carlisle United, he knows me. I've changed a little bit since we worked together last time because I've got older, and I'm sure he has changed a little bit as well, but I'm looking forward to getting him in and we can really get stuck into the season.
In terms of keeping that feel for the club, Paul, is it important that people like Dave know the club, or does that not really matter?
Me personally, I just think it's important to get good people in and people who really want to drive the club forward. I'm here because I want to be here for the long term and to try and build something, and I think speaking to Dave, that's what he wants. I know Gav wants the same. We're all in the same boat. We want to make this football club better, and the more good people you can have involved, the better it is for everybody.
Because I mentioned Stephen Walker, everybody knew he was on trial as well. What happened there?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't feel as though he was going to push the first team. You know, he's had a long time off from playing football. He had an illness. He had a glandular fever illness, and unfortunately, he's not at the level. And as much as I wanted to try and help him, and as much as I wanted to see the footballer in him that I know's there, because I remember him playing for England under 19. So I know there's a footballer there, and you could even see glimpses of that. But I can't wait. We need to start the season with a group of players who are ready to hit the ground running, and I wasn't prepared to wait, and I couldn't wait for Stephen to get fit. So unfortunately I had to just have that discussion with him last Friday, I think it was, because as much as I like the lad and I like him as a footballer, we can't be a nursing home to get them right. We have to be ruthless, and sometimes we have to make those decisions.
You are cautious with trialists, Paul. You use them sparingly because you like your group to be your group, but could we see any more over this summer period?
There's no plans to. I haven't got any plan at the moment, unless somebody gets suggested to me. The problem that you have now with the trialists coming in is that they've missed 3-4 weeks of football fitness, and that takes some getting back. So unless it's a real standout one, I probably won't be, but we are certainly looking to bring players in. I'm still of the view that I would like 4 more, and that's what I'll continue to look to do, and hopefully we'll do that before the August start.
Any closer?
I can't honestly tell you, because I've been close and it's fallen flat on its backside. I've been far away and then something's happened within 12 hours, so who knows. We've got things that we're pushing to try and get. We're still being guided by Premier League clubs on 3 players, so I'm waiting on that. In fact 4, we're waiting on Premier League clubs with 4. We've got another position where we've put an offer in for a player, but I haven't got a clue. This morning I would say we weren't close, but it's now, what are we now? Nearly 2 o'clock after the game, so we may be close now, who knows.
And I've watched you all through the interview looking over my shoulder at the lads training. You're Richard to be there. Thank you very much.
I'm just checking they're doing it properly, that's all, and they are, in all fairness. There's some good goals going in. You probably need to turn the camera on them and get it away from me, but no, I want to make sure they're doing it properly because it's about being fit.
Thank you.
Thank you.